Welcome to the Panic Attack Recovery Podcast, an ongoing source of practical strategies and tips for anxiety and ADHD. We're a collaboration of former sufferers helping those currently struggling with anxiety, panic attacks, and ADHD so they can express their true competencies in life. Now, here is Matthew, your host.
I'm about to discuss something that many anxiety, panic attack, and agoraphobia sufferers have found to be very helpful. What really, in my opinion, can lead to a breakthrough. It's easier to reach out to someone who's walked in our shoes than somebody whose experience has not been personal. Doesn't that make sense? I've always maintained that, in addition to a competent professional, one of the best persons to relate to is a former sufferer of panic attacks, anxiety, agoraphobia, who's gotten better and is willing to share how he or she did so. Why is this so, you may ask? Well, someone who's been in our shoes can relate to the issues, specific issues we're experiencing. It's true that a professional can to a certain extent, but if they have not been in our shoes, they lack this personal attachment. This personal attachment to the issues, I think, allows recoverers of anxiety, panic attacks, and agoraphobia to truly know what issues plague the anxiety sufferer. Additionally, these people often have learned techniques that led to their own recovery. Have you ever heard of the term recovering the mindset? Well, when I first heard the term recovering the mindset phrase, I think it was in the context of a criminal investigator discussing how he could catch a criminal that he'd been tracking. The truth is, where I heard this phrase really doesn't matter, but the important thing is that it can actually help others. Let me just talk a little more about that. Recovering the mindset for me involves seeing the world in the same way that someone you're trying to understand or help does. An example of the investigator above, once he was able to think the same way as the criminal, it facilitated the investigator's ability to catch the criminal. He, of course, is the investigator that I'm speaking about. Now, how does this relate? Well, as a former sufferer of panic attacks and anxiety and agoraphobia, each time I produce an installment, I'm recovering the mindset of my days as a sufferer. Admittedly, we are all different in some ways, but I think there are many common threads that truly allow the recoverer to benefit a current sufferer. And for me, it's become a true passion. And what I think you'll find is that over time, the more you are proactive in your recovery, and the more you obtain suggestions and material from former sufferers of panic attacks, such as myself, I think the more concrete your recovery will become.
Thank you for listening to the Panic Attack Recovery Podcast. Make sure that you have subscribed to our podcast and please comment and rate us on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. All show notes and links are accessible from our website. Please visit our site and subscribe to our free newsletter at panicattackrecovery.com. All information has been provided for educational purposes. Please consult a healthcare professional about any disorder or condition and the applicability of any information provided in this podcast.